This is a video review of the Sony tx30 waterproof digital camera. First thing you'll notice is the camera is very tiny and sleek. It's metal in the front and plastic in the back. As far as buttons are concerned, there's not very many of them on here. You've got your power button here. This is your shutter button. This is the button you hit when you want to record a movie. And this little toggle over here is for zooming the 5x optical zoom. On the back, you've got a 3.3-inch touchscreen OLED display, and on the front you've got your sliding lens cover, and you're going to find your flash. This is the light that helps the camera focus in low light conditions, and then around the lens here are two LED lights for doing macro shots to light up your subject, which is pretty neat. On the bottom you've got a plastic tripod mount, and then you've got the door where you're going to find your battery, your memory card, the charging port, and the HDMI port. Now the battery charges inside the camera, and the memory card that you're going to use is a micro SD card. Now since this is a waterproof camera, you'll notice that the seal has a rubber gasket around it, and anytime you go underwater you want to check the seal, make sure there's no debris on it, and make sure it's not dried or cracked or anything like that. And when you close the door, you'll notice that this little yellow pops out here, and you push down all the way until that yellow disappears, showing you the camera is fully locked and ready to go. After you turn the camera on, it takes about 3 seconds to get ready to shoot. It's very quick to focus, whether at wide angle or telephoto. The touchscreen itself is very responsive. You hit the button and it responds pretty much instantly. Now there's a bunch of shooting modes available. You've got two automatic modes, regular and then the superior. And the superior takes a few shots in quick succession and tries to combine them to get the best shot possible. You've also got a background defocusing mode, and this is going to take 2 shots as well and try and blur out your background. And then you have your 360-degree panorama, and like the diagram here shows, you're just going to stand in one spot and rotate, and the camera is going to take pictures and put them all together into one long panorama. Now there's also the scene modes here, and there's a handful of them to choose from. One of my favorites is the backlight correction in HDR for high dynamic range, and this is going to take a bunch of pictures and combine them so that your highlights and your shadows both look good at the same time. I like to do a lot of my shooting in P mode, which is program automatic mode, and this is where the camera is pretty much automatic, but it gives you a couple of overrides. You can change the ISO speed yourself from 80 all the way up to 12,800. You can change your white balance, your focus, your continuous shooting, metering, all things like that. Now on the left hand panel here are your most used options, and you can change these as you see fit. So if you wanted to change it, you go in here and you push the little gear, and then let's say you don't use white balance very often but you use metering. You just drag out the metering and replace it from the white balance, and now metering is always available here on the left hand side, so if that's a setting you use a lot, it's very quick to get to now. And let me show you how those lights work in the macro mode. You go to macro and magnifying glass plus, and that will turn on the LED lights, which will light up your subject when you're doing extreme close-ups. It's very nice. Now, for playback mode, it's very simple. You're just going to tap through to go through your pictures just like that. You can also zoom in to view a picture more closely. And then you've got some other modes in here where you can give people tans and whatnot. I don't know how well that's going to show up here on the screen. But you go here, you pick the face, and then you can give them a tan by going here. Open up their eyes more, things like that. It's kind of fun to play around with, but can go a little over the top. So that's your playback mode. And that's pretty much it. It's a nice little camera, works really well, simple to use, easy to take everywhere.
You can find out more about this fantastic offer by clicking the link in the description.